Hey team, it's a super cold and rainy day in Canberra today, so we're going to take that time to snuggle up inside and migrate our app from RC4 to RC5. Now RC5 is very close to the final release of Angular, certainly in terms of deprecations and APIs, so this is worth an upgrade. So sit tight and spend the next 5 minutes getting ourselves onto RC5, then we'll move forward tomorrow with some property binding and it's going to be fun. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to confirm from yesterday that everything's still going as we expected. So I've started up my server with ngserve, or ngs for brief, and now I'm going to fire up my browser, have a look at localhost 4200, localhost 4200, and I find that twitng is there it is, looking sharp as we left it yesterday. So let's start our migration process, and I'll actually stop the auto-compile stage at the moment so we can make these changes. All right, so most of the work that we need to do today is actually in package.json, as you'd expect. So we've got all these RC4 changes. Now you can do these from the command line with npm updates, but there's so many of them, they're so similar. I'm just going to do them all in place. So I'm going to use Ctrl-D, which lets you do this funky multi-select cursor deal, and then I'm going to actually just change that 4 to a 5 on all of those RCs. Now forms is also updated in this release, so we're going to change that to 030, and I think the router now has gone to RC1, so we might change that at the same time. So we've updated all of these now, all of our dependencies, so the next thing we need to do is make sure we fetch them. So npm install, and we'll let that download, and that will update all of our dependencies to RC5. Okay, well our package.json is now updated and our new dependencies are downloaded. So let's just do our ngserve and confirm that everything is still working. So let's fire up a browser, head over to localhost 4200. This will take a moment while the actual server sparks up, which gives us some confidence that we're actually going to see the new version. And that compilation's finished, we're sparking up, and now our existing snazzy looking Twitter home screen is underway and happening on RC5. Now this is pretty great, they put a lot of energy into making sure that everything's backwardly compatible, but we really do need to make these changes to move to RC5. So let's just jump in and see some of the new things that are coming our way in this release. So I'm going to start with a new file. This is called app.module.ts, and this is the new NgModule stuff. If you have a look at the release notes for RC5, they'll take you through what goes in here, which is one of these basically, but let me talk you through what this is involved in. The idea is that instead of us having directives that we put in every single one of our components, like we did yesterday when we were referencing our new tag, remember we had to add this feed and menu component. The idea is that now we can have a module so that all of these components can be declared globally for the module, and then you don't have to worry about all those individual directives inside each of your subcomponents, which is pretty cool and makes things a lot tighter, especially for the compilation stuff that's coming down the pipe, where you'll be able to pre-compile all these templates to make them super fast for browser deployment and super small, so that only actually the portions of Angular that you're using will be bundled and minified. So it's going to be awesome and worth putting in the energy now. So let's do that. We've declared our NgModule. Of course, for this to do anything, we're going to have to bootstrap it, and the bootstrapping process has changed. So in our main.ts environment here, where we used to bootstrap an app component, we now actually bootstrap a module. So the first change we're going to make is importing our new module. So our AppModule needs to come in from /app/app.module. So we're going to import that. Second thing, we don't need our AppComponent anymore. That's going to disappear from this process. And this bootstrap class here is now being replaced by a bootstrap platformBrowserDynamic. That's our guy. And we now call platformBrowserDynamic.bootstrap. I think you invoke it and then you bootstrap your app module. BrowserDynamic. Oh, it's bootstrap module. There we go. So that's the change we need now to change this bootstrapping process. So things are now loaded via the module rather than all of the individual directives. So now, because the directives are backwardly compatible, everything's still working. However, at this stage, once we've made those changes, we just need to add these components to our module and we can remove the directive. So let's go back to our module and get our feed component. In fact, let's grab those while we're there. Put our feed component and put our feed component. and our menu component in there. And then we can go into our component. We don't actually need these directives anymore. They can just be removed. So we'll remove those. And now the true test is, does this guy still work? And yes, it does. So we no longer have that directive stuff that we needed to import here. We're now using it via the modules. And that's really the main change in terms of the introduction to NgModule is the main change in RC5. So we've updated our dependencies and we've declared our new module, we've bootstrapped our new module, and we're ready to go. And that's it for the show today. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at events and properties. So looking at how we can bind properties to render in the view and how we can generate events that we can get send off into their backing class. And it's going to be fun. So make sure you hang out tomorrow and we're going to start implementing our actual little input box where we can type stuff in and get this Twitter stream going. So join us for that. It's going to be fun.